So, Maximum Action. What is it? Well, Maximum Action is an early access game, or as I like to call it, an EA game. And yeah, before you start complaining about early access games are not worth writing a review about, just hear me out, okay? Maximum Action was released in Steam the 19th of September 2018. Its publisher is Balloon Moose Games, and the developer is George Mandel, which you probably know from, well, they haven't really published any other games, but yeah. Maximum Action is described as a brutal and satisfying physics-based first-person shooter influenced by Hong Kong action and other old-school titles. Another way people describe it is simply put, Max Payne in first person, which I partly agree with. The game has 84 reviews on Steam, which are mostly positive, but it does also have some negative reviews. But what do I think? Is it worth buying? Well, first off, we've got to have in mind that it is still in the very early stages of development, and the reason I want to review it is actually just to get a name out there, because I don't really see any big channels talking about it, and I really think it needs attention. I think it needs attention because it has a very unique style to it, and I really like the features in the game. So, what makes this game special? Well, actually, surprisingly a lot, when you consider that it's only an EA game. You know, early access. I already told you that, yeah. First off, the game nails ragdoll physics perfectly. I really enjoy it. I'm personally also a huge fan of games with physics-based combat or just plain old ragdoll fun, so I just really like it. You're able to slide, dive, kick and drop kick in this game. The same kind of drop kick from Dying Light, if you know that. It's maybe not as polished, but it works the same way. So if you know that from Dying Light, you should know this one too. The game also introduces action time, which basically allows you to slow down time so you can shoot bad guys with more satisfaction. I don't know if the developer went for the Max Payne slowdown killing kind of feel, but if he did, he nailed it pretty well, I would say so myself. You can change it by the click of a button, and it doesn't have a meter that can run out, so you can keep doing slow-mo as much as you want by just hitting shift. I also don't know of any other first-person shooters where you have this ability. I think this might be the only one that exists, but don't quote me on that. The game also has a replay function where it will start recording when you start a level, and then you can watch it through with some cinematic views afterwards. It seems a little useless as of right now, because it's a little bit buggy and doesn't really work that well, but still it's a nice little feature to have. Now, how is the combat like in this game? Is the shooting as satisfying as it claims to be? To answer shortly, yes, this shooting is as satisfying as it claims to be, but the diving is where the game loses me a bit. The diving can be and mostly is pretty frustrating, because every time you walk forward and you want to jump, you just automatically dive. And the problem with that is that you are able to jump normally, but you have to stand nearly completely still to do so. You are mostly going to dive when you play this game, because it's one of the key mechanics in the game, but if the game had like a button to dive and a button to jump, that would be pretty nice. Because it can make the game difficult sometimes when you want to do something, but you instead end up doing the opposite thing that you wanted to do. The dropkick and sliding works perfectly though. I haven't really had any scenarios where it made me frustrated or didn't work as it should. The game actually also offers a big variety of guns. There are different shotguns, pistols, submachine guns, rifles, and even a damn rocket launcher. You also have a limited amount of grenades where you just click the middle mouse button and you throw them, and you're also able to punch when you don't have any weapons on you. You're even able to dual wield weapons of any kind, which makes shooting enemies so much more fun. You're also able to shoot pretty fast in the game, which makes killing enemies so much more fun, and it's a lot more gory when you're able to do that, because blood just splatters all over the screen. And it also just adds to the overall feel of fast-paced, non-stop combat, which the game tries to do. I first thought it also made the game easier, but as I played through all of the levels, I realized that it doesn't really change anything, because you lose a lot of health when you get shot. So you have to try to dodge bullets in slow motion while you dive, slide and kick around the different levels. So shooting fast doesn't really make the difficulty easier. I would say that the difficulty stays the same throughout the whole game, no matter how fast you're shooting or whatever you're doing. But what about the level design? Are the levels any good? So the level design, well, sadly it's pretty shit. Don't get me wrong, the levels are fun to play, but the design of them are just not good at all. I was able to fly out of the map multiple times, and I know the style the game is going for is that old simplistic shooter graphic style, but mostly the level seems empty and just randomly put together. It doesn't have a lot of variety, and It's the same textures mostly used. The enemies are just put around different places with no actual meaning behind why they are there. But I think that is also what the developer is going for as of right now at least. I think he wants to show off the shooting and the diving and the kicking and the sliding and the slow motion, all of those mechanics, and then just threw in some random mumbo jumbo levels to play around in. The game does make a little bit up for it though with the level editor that has been implemented in the game. The level editor basically allows you to make your own levels, which I really like. You're not able to play other people's levels yet though, but that's also because it's still being worked on, so I think that's gonna be a feature in the future, hopefully. And I know I mentioned that it's early access and still being worked on a lot, but the latest update was the 6th of November, where the developer wrote, "As a one-man developer, I've been busy and I recently started school and had to take a break while I adjusted and switched computers. So new updates are going to start rolling out soon, at least. So that's where the developer is at right now. But I do think there should be a little more focus on the level design at least in the next couple of updates, because it's very plain and just boring. There is also an endless mode included in the game, which is a fun little time waster where you fight waves of enemies while you jump around small corridors. I had a lot of fun playing it, and while it doesn't add that much to the game, it is a good way to be introduced to the mechanics of the game and just to do something while you wait for the next update. There's also a sandbox mode, but I couldn't get it to work, so I don't really know about that yet. But probably the most important question, is it worth buying right now? I know this review is very short, and I know I haven't said a lot about the game, but that's also because there is not that much to the game right now. The game is a lot of fun, and I personally think it's very original, the whole idea of the game, and something that hasn't been made before. Still don't quote me on that. I also really love the retro aesthetic it has, and I really love the combat. I wish more games were like this game in terms of combat. But it does have some flaws and quite a few bugs right now. But I actually don't think that the game is overpriced. The price is €12.49 right now, and I think it's a fitting price for what it has to offer right now. It isn't that much to pay, so if you have the money and you're looking for some good, fast-paced, gory, slow-mo, first-person combat, then I totally think you should buy it. I think that maybe in a couple of months, maybe a year, the game will be worth the double of the price, so why not get it while it's still cheap? The only risk is that he might stop working on the game at some point, but it looks like he's working very hard on it right now and has no intention of stopping anytime soon. It does feel weird to give an EA early access game a score, but from what it is right now, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 because of the lack of content and also just the diving mechanic that needs to be polished a little more. That was all. I know this was probably short, but this is my first ever review, and it's the first time I ever write a script to a YouTube video. So I just wanted to try out and see if this is my style, and please let me know if you liked it, if I can improve on something, if I should go in a little more in detail. I really hope you enjoyed though, and I hope you want to listen to my opinion on this game. I have played it quite a lot. I played it for like 3 hours. So, you know, there's a lot to it, and I'm still gonna play it after this. So, you know, if that helps anything. Please let me know if I can improve anything, and let me know if you liked the video, and remember to give a like and subscribe to see if you want more. Peace out.